Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, do me a favour, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and if you would do me a huge favour, you can become a member of the channel. Link is in the description. This weekend we're going to do our first live stream for the members. We're going to play a bit of EA. You'll see me playing a bit of Foot Champs, so come and sit back, chillax, we'll have a chat. Ask your questions, just a nice laid-back chat, and then we will be doing one as well on the second day for the rest of you over the weekend. So stay tuned for that. We'll just have a nice little chill out, chat some rubbish. So do that. Link is in the description. And today we're back with the off-season reviews and also the previews into 2024. And we're now here with the reigning premiers, Collingwood. So let's have a look at what Collingwood got up to. And as we can see in the off-season, they are currently ranked 26.1 average age, which has them the oldest, and 92.1, the most experienced. And what that tells us here probably doesn't paint the total picture of Collingwood. Unlike Geelong, who had similar makeup this time last year, they have got a lot of young kids we haven't seen, and a lot of players that we haven't really talked about in the last couple of in the last season, to be honest. Players like Finlay McRae, you've got players there like Ed Allen we haven't seen that really are going to be the future of that club. So they have got the talent coming through. They've got players like Oscar Skifteen as well. Nathan Kruger can never get himself fit, but they have got that backup and players like Jacob Ryan. So they did have a bit of a jettison this year. Taylor Adams, as we know, he left to go to Sydney. Trent Bianco and Arlo Draper were delisted. Ginny, he finds his new home at Hawthorn. Will Kelly, maybe a bit of a surprise. I thought there might be something with him. Cooper Morley were delisted. Trey Roscoe and Tom Wilson. But aside from Taylor Adams and Jack Ginny, and maybe Trent Bianco to a lesser extent, not really much was lost. Do you know what I mean? It was more guys that haven't kicked on. However, they probably did have the worst news ever. Dan McStay went down with an ACL this week, which rules him out of the year. So there will be another in that we're not going to discuss on that video. And that will come from either Josh Aird, Jack Bytel, Bryn Teakle, Campbell Hustwaite, the co-captain at the VFL, or Sam Sorinandis, which could be interesting. There's also some links to Big Brodie McLaughlin from Gold Coast, who has been delisted, the goal kicker. It's going to be interesting what they do. I mean, Jack Bytel makes the most sense in the terms of he's pretty much, he's AFL standard. Bryn Teakle is a real interesting one for me. He's one that, it would be really entertaining to see what they do. And if they go for Brodie, 26, 193, 87 kegs, absolutely took the Michaela Strachan, didn't he, in the VFL with his goal kicking as well. It could be one that makes sense there as well. Bryn Teakle's the really interesting one for me because I feel like there's a lot of upside with Bryn. And Collingwood have got a history, haven't they, of taking like a guy that's maybe been forgotten about and turning him into something. We've seen players like Roughhead. Do you know what I mean? We've also seen, Majacek, who was forgotten about a lot of drafts, and he became a superstar. There's a few others as well throughout Collingwood's history that Bryn Teakle and Brodie do fit that bill for me. Particularly Bryn, who was a late recruit, didn't really get going at Port, but definitely has something about him. So it could be a really interesting one, but that needs to be filled. Dan McStay is a big loss for them, and even though I'm a Carlton fan, you don't want to see injuries and you don't want to see good players out for the year. So sending my regards on that aspect. But they probably did have the best trade of the trade period, to be honest. One that came out of left field, Lockie Schultz. Now, if this guy had played in Victoria, we'd all be talking about him as if he's the next Eddie Betts, to be honest. Lockie Schultz is an incredible footballer, particularly over the last 2 years. and he really personifies what you would say Collingwood are about in the terms of he might have not developed quickly, but his last 2 years have been pretty sensational, and these are just his career games. But already 90 games, 12.7 touches, 4.3 score involvements, 1.1 tackles inside 50, and 1 goal a game. And it's really interesting noting that these numbers jump the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, that's 1.4 goals a game. That's 5.2 score involvements. That is pretty mighty already. And that's 1.7 tackles inside 50. This guy has really hit the algorithm of late. And you know what? Losing Ginny and bringing in Schultz, huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. Schultz is splendid. An absolute goal-kicking machine, but he's also a forward magnet. So I really like this acquisition. This was a really, really good acquisition from Collingwood, it has to be said. And again, testament to their list management. No pissing about. He requested the trade Friday, Monday morning, it was all wrapped up. More teams need to be like that, or the AFL need to stop hiding the trade so we can have that. Harry Di Matteo joined next. We've talked about him a lot. One of my boys, 185. 78 kegs. Just a short note, people were saying that they don't need a mid-forward. We said that there'd be a slide. We thought it might be Thul. We thought it might be Di Matteo. There was a few names that we ran around there. Lance Collard was another. They got Di Matteo, and Di Matteo is an absolute dynamite of a footballer. So I love this guy, just quietly. And I think he's going to be very, very good. And there is going to be a lot of people who are going to be crying about this, I think, because I feel like this was a massive oversight. Dandenong Stingrays players genuinely have a little bit of chutzpah about them. Can play midfield, can play forward, has played out wide, has played on the ball. The big thing about this guy, right, is his leadership, his way he carries himself, his attitude, his maturity, with incredible breaking speed, but also very intense tackling, and also his ability to do the team first thing, which is literally a plug and play in McRae's system, and he will play games very early, in my opinion. One big standout from watching him at the Stingrays, and particularly for Vic Country, is his ability to buy himself time, which is an uncanny knack, and it's something that the Dacoses have got, Pendlebury's got, just that natural ability to be calm when the situation is getting away from you. And you know what? To see him working with Pendles, to see him working with the Dacoses, I think this is a really good acquisition, and I think that this kid here is going to be something really exciting, particularly from stoppages. You saw him last year. This was his AFL Under-18 Championships, 14.3 touches, 2 marks. He went at 65% disposal efficiency as well, 4.3 tackles, 5 inside 50s. And as you can see as well, he wasn't shy on the goals, 0.6 goals a game as well. I reckon he'll start half forward and then move back, but I could also see him doing the Nick Dacos role, and you're playing him behind the ball and really utilising his defensive craft, which is really solid. Real good runner as well. Harry is a superstar in the making, and will be definitely one that will be inside the top 10 when we redraft it. Up next was Chu Gaff, and I'm a big Chu Gaff fan, and that was no surprise. Hawthorn man, they snuck him with the last pick pretty much before he could be picked up. 188, 72 kegs, can play that general defender. And what is really important about him is people have got to understand this guy wasn't even selected for his Gippsland power side up until the mid-year when everyone moved into their representative side. And once he came in, he easily became the best defender that they had. And the big thing about Chu is not only is he quick, he's also massively composed with his ability to intercept at the highest point, to create separation. He creates separation very late, which basically means he engages the contact, and then at the latest point he then goes and attacks the ball, which is what all the top modern day defenders do. working with Darcy Moore, who's one of the incredible components of this, that really makes it exciting. And he's also very good at kicking out and hitting targets and setting you up. When he played in the Coach League this year, 17.7 disposals, 3.5 marks, 2.1 tackles, 0.7 inside 50s and 5 rebound 50s. This guy here is a pure transition machine, and one that I feel is going to be a really, really big asset for sides this year. Really look out for Chu. Do I think he'll play? I don't think he'll play early. I think if he does, it's going to be a late season debut, but I do feel this is a VFL for a year and then watch him explode later. A really, really good little acquisition. And let's look ahead to 2024, and I want you to keep this kid in mind. I like Big Jasper Muller. Now, he comes from Sturt out in South Australia. Now, you really want to keep your eye on this guy. You really do. Now, what is very strong about Jasper is his ability to use his body well and to impose himself in the marks. Another big area of Jasper, and if you watch the 2023 Under-18 Grand Final, you actually see him there really showcase his wares. He kicks 2 in that game and shows it. But it's his ability to work from deep. He's not scared to make that pocket run. He's got real good mobility on him. 195 and 75 kegs. And aerially, he's very strong. But another big facet of his game, and that's a very poignant thing for Collingwood, is Collingwood like to keep the ball in motion. They're not a stop-start side. And you see him quite often, he'll take that lead and he'll flick it on to his little smalls. And this kid here can play football and really, really keep an eye on his development. Because Collingwood are going to have a late pick, we know that. And I feel like this guy here is going to definitely be one of them that we look at and we think, you know what? This could be it. This could be it. And it is a real, I think, big possibility that this is the kind of guy that will be on radars. On radars, I feel. And it's going to be one that, if you guys keep an eye on it, I feel like it's a need that you need, if you know what I mean. I know that sounds weird, but it's a need that you need. And if you think about it, this time next year, Collingwood are going to have to really get a bit creative, aren't they? You look at their picks that they've got next year. Hawthorn second, third, right? So they're not going to be in the top 10. This guy here should be a mid-second rounder, late second rounder, something to work towards. So look at his games at under 18 level, bearing in mind he's 16, 10 games, 12.3 touches, 3.3 marks, 1.7 tackles, 2 goals a game. This kid is one to watch out for, so really keep an eye on him. And we've had a crack at this minus McStay. There is a few guys that I feel like will be in the reckoning, but we've got Murphy, Howe, Maynard, Quaynor, Moore, Noble. I feel like Noble's one of the most underrated players in this 23, a really workhorse. Dacos, Mitchell, Sidebottom, Hill, Majocek, McCreary. McCreary, I feel like, is definitely that defensive pressure that allows Hill, Elliott and Schultz to do it. Elliott, Schultz, Mason Cox, I imagine, will take the full forward role, with Darcy Cameron, Nick Dacos and DeGoey making up the starting 18. And then outside of that, you've got a host of names, and I really wanted to do this a little bit differently. I feel like I've done a few of these, but obviously Crispy's going to be there. But look out for players like Finlay McRae. Look out for players like Jacob Ryan. Look out for players like Di Matteo. These players will definitely be in. Pendlebury's going to be not around forever, so I imagine to see you guys heavily rotate Pendlebury this year and get him primed for finals. I feel like this list here is in a real good place in the terms of its development, and I expect to see one more year of kind of development from you guys. I really do feel like that there's going to be a little bit of development, a little bit of weaning players in, because there's a lot there, and I feel like Ash Johnson is one that I'm really looking at this year to take on the mantle. You've got Sidebottom there and Dacos on the wing. I reckon Ed Allen is going to be a shout there, because I feel like you're going to really rest rest side bottom. I feel like you have to at this stage. So it's going to be a really interesting one, but a real strong list and a team that we can't really count out, because just looking at them, you'd imagine that list is going to be what? That bench will be Jack Crisp. It's going to be Ashley Johnson probably. Do you know what I mean? It's probably, I reckon Lipinski will be there. And I also have a feeling that Scott Pendlebury will be there. So then when you say that, you've got some names there that we're going to be looking out for. Oscar Steen, will he go as that ruck? Can he do it? Jacob Ryan, can he jettison Howe? Can he jettison Noble? A real opportunity, because that's something, a point of difference that you haven't got. Joe Richards, another point of difference, lightning speed. Reef McInnes, real versatile. Is there a place for him in this side? Oleg Markov, another one as well, will be fighting in that back line. Hoskin Elliott, you know you'll see him. I know you guys hate him. Billy Frampton, he's an interesting one. He's probably going to have a lot of work to do. Nathan Murphy, how's his longevity? Charlie Dean's one that I've got my eye on as well, because that Murphy spot always looks vulnerable. Di Matteo, Josh Carmichael, if he can get some continuity to going as well, he's a really good one. But that's Collingwood. Let me know what you guys and girls think. They are the reigning premiers. Can they go back to back? Time will tell. But some good acquisitions in the draft and trade period from next to nothing picks. It's going to be interesting to see how they go. Much love, everyone. Till next time, Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.